also, you can code your database to create unique IDs, especially in Excel. So this one you just use the concatenate function, and it would automatically join your first two columns there to create your unique ID.
The which function?
Concatenate.
Concatenate.
Concatenate. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so you equals concatenate, parenthesis, I don't know, A1, comma, B1, and you join those two together automatically.
You want to hide it?
No, I just worked with some people who've been really good with Excel. So, referential integrity to protect the integrity of the database. This can be established when relationships are formed. And relationships, they allow flexibility. If you make changes in your data, you need to update values in one place. And you can have it so that your queries, forms, and reports are all updated. Simplicity, so rather than a single file that has multiple columns that really aren't related to each other, you can focus on a specific aspect of your data. Power, storing the data in separate related tables allows you to group, search, and retrieve information in multiple ways. And also, it's just easier to manage when you have smaller, more broken up tables. And the relationship types, you kind of hit on that. One to many, many to one, one to one. It's only really good when you have a table that's not really used. And many to many. This here is an insanely crazy relationship. This is the Fishing Games community profile database. And you can see that this represents a many relationship, and you have the ones there, so one record in that database can be found relate to multiple records in that database. Yeah. And referential integrity, it's a set of rules that guarantees your relationships are valid and the data will remain intact. And when you're setting up relationships and access, you just can click the box there to set one up. And some of the rules are that for every record in a child table, so the many side, there is one and only one matching record in the parent table, so the one side. Another example is you cannot enter a child record for which no parent exists, so that's the example of you can't enter an interview without a corresponding interviewee. Kind of in reverse, you cannot delete the parent record if a related child record still exists, so you can't delete the person who does the interview if his or her interview still exists. And also you cannot change the child record, so its foreign key doesn't match the table. Yeah.
So is that the actual terminology they use in databases? They talk about parent and child records?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard that before.
Yeah.
What is foreign key?
Foreign key is the unique key,
Okay.
unique ID. You'll hear it called foreign key too. But, yeah.
But you can't enter a child record for which no parent exists.
Maybe that's why they do it. It makes sense, you know. You must have a parent. And the same thing is, you can't change the foreign or the primary key in the parent table as long as there's related children. And you can have relationships between spatial and non-spatial databases. That's where there's something called a geodatabase. And here you have the spatial Texas, and you have population size, which is non-spatial. So, and that's would be a whole nother course to teach that. But this is an example of a geodatabase in ArcView, and you do have a relationship class. Its own separate file within the geodatabase, and this is the geodatabase. you see it has the same extension as Access, but you never open it in Access, or you'll totally destroy your database.
I see that it's 5:06 and the class goes to
sorry.
5. I didn't know if you just had a few slides left, or if there's things that we could put up on Blackboard.
Okay.
Maybe if we want to.
I can put, maybe, I can go through limiting data entry and what it said. So limiting data entry, this is an example where you can set up a mask and say if this is Social Security, then all your data has to look like that. It'll automatically be put into a Social Security form. You know, you can also do that for dates too. You can also do a validation rule. Let's say you have firefighters and they can only be between a certain age. Then that doesn't show very well, but that's an error message that will come up in the Access. Also, you can generate data in Excel. This would be an example where you only enter the day, and this formula would automatically generate your week and would also show you where you have incorrect data, false. So, the same thing, here's another example where I just enter burn data and I have if and then rules, and it calculates size, category, and burn. Also in ArcGIS, there's ways to do it. You can have a minimum and maximum value with something called a domain. And then you assign the domain to a column in your database. And there, I'm assigning the domain I made to the diameter for a specific shape file, GIS file. So forms also can help. Like this, I was talking about data entry and reducing mistakes. Well, this is a form where I have this table, and this represents this, and I can only select what loci I have, so there's no way I can enter a loci that doesn't exist. So,
With drop-down menu?
yeah, with drop-down menus, yeah. And it really speeds entering, because like I said, you can enter multiple tables at the same time, and when you make a form, you can set up the order, so that like when you tab, it either tab, you know, entering data, or if you want tab, so you can rearrange how you enter the data based on what is easiest for you.
And then it can also fit what your survey looks like too,
Yeah.
so that you're following.
This is an Access?
Yeah, Access. You can also, this is an example of where you don't want to enter a new animal when the animal already exists in the database, and forms can help you figure out if that animal already exists. Like this one already had some serum and whole blood done on it, so instead of creating, it'll pop up, and then you just enter a new data under that specific field ID. And yeah, there's easy ways to create a form. You can do it from a wizard, which is the easiest, an auto form, and the design view is where you can really customize stuff. And it's yeah.
I wish I had this in the lesson 6-8 months ago.
But I can put this up on Blackboard because I do go through how to query and how to bring all your data together in the different tables and stuff like that, so I can do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, but yeah. There, the end.
Come on, Jen.
You gotta love the onion.